What's going on YouTube? My name is ITalk.
I have feelings, world, for Traps and Daphne.
Here, and in today's video, we have a brand new video. So, today I wanted to do something a little bit fun, a little bit something that is kind of out of the norm for me. We're going to do kind of a theory crafting video. What I mean by that is we're going to talk about something that we don't know 100% what the answer to it is. So what are we talking about today? Well, if you read by the title, we are talking about what is the most sold item shop item. Now, I don't mean what was in the shop the most times, because that doesn't necessarily always mean that that was the most sold. I'm talking about the items in the item shop that were the most bought. So let's just get right into it. So I had a few things that I had written down. A few, meaning like maybe 20 things that I feel like would be possible contenders for being the most sold. At the very end, I'll say what I believe to be the most sold item. In the comment section down below, if you want to agree to disagree with me on anything, please let me know, because I would love to know what you guys think about this, because like I said, we don't have 100% concrete numbers to back any of this up. This is just what I'm assuming. So to start off, I feel like that the Cuddle Team Leader and the Love Ranger are some of the most sold skins that we have in Fortnite Battle Royale. Love Ranger especially, because you got those love wings that everyone and their mother used back in Season 3. And it just seems like that's what a lot of people like to ran. I mean, I know it came out in Season 2, but back blings weren't a thing until Season 3. And the love wings were one of those back blings that I remember specifically I never wanted to get, because it was always said that if you wore the love wings, you had to be a good player. Now, remember, this is back before I was taking the game all that seriously. And I felt like that was like a cardinal rule of the Fortnite community, like how we have soccer skins are always super sweaty skins. Back then, it was, if you wear the love wings, you better be good at the game to be like, quote unquote, like you earned those wings, you know what I mean? Very silly of me to really think like that, but that's kind of how we had that going on in Season 3 and Season 4. A lot of people always stuck by the love wings as like, this is a symbol of you are a tryhard, because it went with everything too. I can't lie. The Love Ranger wings, in my opinion, are the best wings that we've had in the game, period. They're the perfect size, and they're just the most subtle, to the point where they're actually really good. And the fact that we don't see Love Ranger sold much at all anymore is really shocking, because we still see Cuddle Team Leader very often, but Love Ranger, who is a part of the same set as Cuddle Team Leader, is nowhere to be found. And I really don't understand why. And I kind of wish they would just bring him back every once in a while. Not once a month, maybe, but the fact that we haven't seen him in so long is just ridiculous. Next I want to talk about is the Whiteout skin. Now, I feel like the Whiteout skin was sold pretty well back when it was first out, because everyone loved the Overtaker and the Whiteout, at least I think so, because the back bling was like a katana. But not only that, but the reason why I'm going to say Whiteout over Overtaker with this one is because Whiteout had an edit style of a blonde character, and a lot of people love the blonde hair skins, like the Laguna. People love it. So I'm thinking, like, I feel like Whiteout probably sold more than the Overtaker in this case. Next I have is Scarlet Defender. I mean, cheap skin, looks really good, and they added a hat to her. I feel like the skin sold pretty well as well. Also got Waypoint. The edit style is great. Everyone loves that Rook character edit style. A lot of people really dig that, so I feel like that probably sold pretty well. Even before then, I thought the skin was pretty good. Arctic Assassin, it's a classic. It's a skin that everyone really can identify with. It's a very original skin in the grand scheme of things. I feel like that sold pretty well. Nightlight, as much as I hate the Nightlight skin, and as much as I don't like the Light Show skin, because I feel like they're oversold, I feel like the Nightlight skin is sold the more, because it's the female, and a lot of people gravitate towards the female skins more than the male skins. And yeah, like I said, as much as I really don't like these skins that much, I do think that this was sold fairly well back all the way in Season 4 until now. Another thing, which I will say as a whole set, I feel like this was sold extremely well, was the Marshmello set. The Marshmello set was so hyped to be a skin that, like, no one thought was going to be a thing, right? Like, the whole set, the Marsh Walk, the Mellow Glider, and the skin itself, I think were sold extremely well. Maybe I don't see it run in game that often, because a lot of people liked it. I feel like every skin has like its own seasons. I'll talk about that in another video, but I feel like the Marshmello skin, regardless if I don't see it in game all that much, I still think it was sold extremely well. Now we gotta talk about Raven. Now, Raven was one of my favorite skins all the way back in Season 3, because back when I first really started getting back into Fortnite, my brother was watching a leaker channel. I forgot who he was watching. I think it might have been Camping Rusher, when he was talking about the leaked Raven skin. And I thought, like, wow, that skin looks really cool. I wonder when it'll be in the shop. And my brother said, oh, it should be in the shop today. I installed Fortnite again. I saw it in the shop. And right there is when I decided I'm going to buy the skin and I'm going to get back into Fortnite. And honestly, that was probably the best decision of my life to get back into Fortnite. I don't see it run that much anymore, but to me, I think the Raven skin is one of the most popular and probably one of the most sold skins in the item shop. Next we have is the Dream skin. This is actually a more recent skin with the butterfly back bling, and I feel like the skin was sold very well. A lot of people seem to really gravitate towards it, kind of like with Dark Bomber, which is another skin I'll just mention right now. I feel like Dark Bomber was a really well sold skin as well, in my opinion. And not just for the fact that FaZe Sway uses that as his main skin, I just think that the Dark Bomber was overall a very solid skin. And yeah, I think both these sold pretty well. I wouldn't be surprised if either one of these was the most sold. The Studded Axe. I feel like the Studded Axe could very well be one of the most sold things in the item shop, in my opinion. It's technically, I wouldn't consider it pay to win, but it's definitely helpful, because it's the most silent pickaxe in the game. When you pull it out, you barely hear a sound compared to like the Reaper pickaxe when that thing just makes that swing noise. This sounds a lot quieter, and it makes it so you can actually win more fights a lot easier, because people can't really find where you are, especially when you pull out the pickaxe. I feel like the Studded Axe was sold pretty well. And not only that, what about the Candy Axe? I feel like the Candy Axe was sold really well back at Christmas time of 2018. Again, it's very quiet, and it also rewards you if you get a lot of kills in a game by lighting up the pickaxe. And I feel like a lot of people own it. Again, I don't really see it used that much anymore, but I still think it was sold pretty darn well. If I had to take a guess, I feel like Candy Axe was sold pretty well. The Red Knight. The Red Knight was really overhyped back in Season 5, I believe, is when it finally came back into the item shop. And I still remember people to this day, you know, clamoring for people to not get the back bling, because if you guys didn't know, when they brought back the Red Knight back in July, it didn't come with the back bling right away, and everyone's saying, oh, only the OG players can have the back bling. And I'm like, I was just like really shaking my head at that point. I'm like, really? You guys are really gonna complain over the back bling not being there and just saying, oh, only OG players can have it? Like, seriously, like, sometimes the Fortnite community is really immature, but I'm not saying everybody, but I remember that very specifically, that people were really upset about the Red Knight coming back, but the fact that they weren't selling the back bling, because that was a complete fluke, and people were just taking that as like, oh, the OGs actually get the back bling, that's a good trade-off, was stupid. And I really wish we would stop thinking like this. I've talked about this so many times, but like I said, just because you're an original player of the game does not mean that you get to keep things permanently only to yourself. If it's an item shop thing, it deserves to be for anyone that can get it while it's in the item shop. So yeah. So I feel like the Red Knight was definitely sold very well, especially with how much hype it got when it came back. Also, what about the soccer skins? I feel like the soccer skins, at least the Poised Playmaker or the Clinical Crosser, I feel like those could easily have been the most sold item in the item shop, in my opinion. They're just so universal, and they're just such good skins. I feel like a lot of people would really buy these skins, even if it was just one of them. I think they're really good, and you see pros use them all the time. So I don't know. I feel like maybe the Poised Playmaker could be the most sold item in the item shop. Now we're getting to like really where I think we have the most sold here. Is what about the Electro Swing emote? I think the emote is phenomenal. A lot of people really like this emote, and I could definitely see this being one of the most sold items. Like I said, I'm not even talking about skins here. It could be anything in the shop I feel like was like the most sold, and I feel like Electro Swing could definitely be one of those items. What about Nogops? I feel like when the Nogops came back for Christmas, a lot of people bought the Nogops, and compared to the other Christmas skins, I feel like Nogops was sold the most, mainly because it was the cheapest, and it just probably looked the best. I mean, Red-Nosed Raider is good and all, but I feel like Nogops definitely sealed the deal as like the best Christmas skin of that time. Even Merry Marauder and Ginger Gunner, those were a little bit too expensive for me to believe that they were the most sold, but at the same time, a lot of kids got money for Christmas, so maybe they did buy the Merry Marauder or the Ginger Gunner. I know the Merry Marauder is a lot more popular than the Ginger Gunner, but that's just what I'm thinking here. What about the Skull Trooper? Skull Trooper coming back was definitely one of the biggest hype moments of Fortnite in general back in Season 6 when we got that back and we had the purple edit style. But besides the purple edit style, we also had like the Ghost Portal, and they added challenges, and a lot of people Really liked the Skull Trooper because it was definitely one of the most hyped up skins, and I could definitely see that being one of the most bought when it came back in October of 2018. Now, the T-pose emote as well, I feel like is a very cheap emote, and I feel like a lot of people bought this emote, mainly because it's just such a troll emote, and it's definitely one of the better ones for sure. And then I had two more things written down, and I feel like that one of these two was the most sold. Number 2, I feel like the Reaper pickaxe was probably one of the most sold items in the Fortnite item shop. Again, another very hyped up item coming back, and a lot of people very angry about it coming back, but I'm not going to get into that. But I definitely think that the Reaper could have easily been one of the most sold items in the item shop. 100%. It was only 800 V-Bucks, very affordable, and I could definitely see that being one of, if not the most sold item in the item shop. But what item do I personally think is the most sold in the item shop? Again, the one that was the most bought. Bright Bomber. I'm just gonna flat out say I think the Bright Bomber was the most sold, in my opinion. It didn't come with a back bling. Bright Gunner came with the Bright Bag back bling, but I definitely think Bright Bomber was the most sold, not only because it's the most sold item in the shop, I do think it was the most purchased, and I feel like because they brought it back over 40 times, mind you, in the item shop, that it had to sell well, and it had to have been one of, if not, I believe, to be the most bought item in the item shop. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I really want to know what you guys think, because I know for sure I definitely missed out on at least one or two things in the shop that could have been sold a lot. I would love to know your opinion on this. I think for my next video, sometime down the road, I will do what I think to be the most least sold item in the item shop. Definitely let me know in the comments if you would like to see that. Thank you all so much for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please let me know with a like, because that really helps out the channel and it lets me know that you enjoy the content. Subscribe to the channel if you are brand new, and turn on the bell just to get all my latest uploads, and comment down below. What are some skins, items in the shop do you think were sold the most? I would love to know. Follow me on Twitter at ITalkFortnite. Follow me on Instagram at ICanTalkFortnite. If you would like to use me for support a creator, my code is ITalkFortnite. Thank you all so much that use my code. It really does help me out a lot. Thank you all so much for watching, and have a good one now. See ya.